Guys, wow. Shizuoka 2023. The Shizuoka Hobby Show is an annual event that happens in Japan. I've attended in the past. I would love to attend every year. I really wish that I could have attended it this year because, wow, we're getting a ton of stuff announced and it seems like it's like crazier than usual. So we have so much stuff announced, so I wasn't planning on making this video straight away, but there's just so much to talk about. I want to actually break this up into a couple of episodes just because there's so much and I don't want this video to be so incredibly long. So in today's video, this is part one, we're going to talk about just Bandai's announcements and the stuff that Bandai had to show there at the event. And then in the next either one or two videos, we'll then talk about Kotobukiya and Hasegawa, Aoshima, Max Factory, Good Smile Company, X Plus, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot to talk about, so we'll get into that in the next episodes. For this first episode, let's just get right into it with Bandai stuff, starting with the Gunpla, of course. The big announcement that I think caught everyone by surprise, including myself very much so, was the Master Grade SD, the MGSD Barbatos. This is coming out in autumn. I was expecting that we're probably going to get an MGSD about once a year. The fact that we're getting a second one this year is pretty incredible. I'm really happy that it's the Barbatos. I think the Barbatos is a really good candidate for this line. The design of the Gundam, the proportions and everything, I think fit really well for the MGSD, and just the details, the design of it looks very, very similar to the Master Grade and just shrunken down, which I mean obviously makes sense, but I think it looks great. It looks fantastic. That's going to be a really cool release. We haven't really seen much other than just the main Gundam itself, so we don't really know what all it's going to come with. I assume that probably next month we're going to see some more details about that. I think it said that in June there was going to be more information coming out about it, so we'll see more about that later, but I can imagine it's going to come with the mace, the sword, probably the same accessories that the Master Grade came with, the sword and the mace and the cannon, I guess would be probably the three main things. That's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that. The Freedom Gundam was amazing. That really impressed me a lot, so I'm really looking forward to checking out what the Barbatos is like. The Master Grade Barbatos is another like really amazing Master Grade kit. I loved that kit, and so I think that this one's going to be really, really nice. Definitely looking forward to that. Okay, we saw the RG Epion on display. This is not new, but this is the first time kind of seeing it on display at a show, so just to quickly mention about that. It also looks fantastic. That's coming out in September for 4,200 yen. Cannot wait for that one as well. Same thing here for the Full Mechanics Forbidden Gundam. This one's coming out in August for 5,800 yen. Also looks really good. Seeing this one on display and at the show there, it just makes me even more excited for this one as well. After the Calamity and the Raider Gundam, both of those kits being really, really nice, I think this one is going to be really nice as well. So a lot of really cool, big releases on the way from Bandai that I'm definitely looking forward to. We also have a new HG Gym from the MSD, the Mobile Suit Discovery line, just kind of like the Origins version of MSV, Mobile Suit Variations. So we have the new Gym coming out, which is going to be a standard release, and this is the shoulder cannon and missile pods equipment type version of that, coming out in November for 2,300 yen. So those of you guys who are Gym fans, I personally love the HD the Origins line, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. And the equipment on that looks really cool, all the details and everything. Of course, one of the great things about that line is how detailed those kits are, and the kit looks fantastic. A couple of P Bandai items here, of course, naturally. We've got the Master Grade Eclipse Gundam 2. So this one was kind of out of nowhere, and it's mostly a color swap, but it looks like it does have some new parts in there as well. So if you guys were fans of the MG Eclipse, this would probably be a really nice kit to put next to it. To have the two of them on display together, I think would look really cool. The Eclipse and the Eclipse 2, with them being kind of like opposite color schemes, I think that'll look really nice. Then we also have the actual announcement now of the MG Camphor Schwer. I hope that's the correct pronunciation of that, although it's probably not. Anyway, we've seen this before out in magazines, and like this is a custom build by Naoki along the lines of the X Impulse, which we saw, I think it was the last previous release in this line of custom builds from him that are released as premium Bandai Master Grade kits. So we've seen this before, but this is the first time seeing it there on display and getting confirmation that it is coming out as a premium Bandai item that will be available for purchase, but we don't know when or the price yet for that, so we have to wait for more details on that. But it is a pretty cool design. I do like the look of that design, that take on the MG Camphor. It looks like there's not going to be a whole lot of original armor from the Camphor that's going to be used for that, so it's going to be a fair amount of new parts with that kit for sure. Now getting into some Gundam-based limited Gunpla, here we have the HG Torohachi. This is that little kind of worker, I don't know if you would even call it a mobile suit. It's like that little kind of worker suit kind of thing from Gundam Unicorn, and it looks like this is coming as a set of 3, although it's kind of hard to tell based on the images that I saw there from this show. But this is going to be coming out in August for 2,000 yen, so it's just 3 of these little guys there that you can get, which looks really cool. I wish that was the standard release item, so I'll definitely try to get my hands on that though, but it's a Gundam-based limited item. Also, we have the HG Gym, Gym 2, and Gym 3 set coming out in June for 4,300 yen. The nice thing about this set, I mean, those kits are all just kind of normal HGUC kits, but the nice thing about this particular Gundam-based limited set is that it comes with a decal set with that. So you get some waterslide decals, quite a big sheet of waterslide decals there for your gyms, and you could use them for like anything, for like a lot of different EFSF type mobile suits in 1/44 scale, basically. And last thing here, we have a Gundam-based limited version of the HG Moon Gundam. This is the long rifle equipped version, so it basically just has a new rifle. It's like the long rifle, similar to the one that the Sazabi has. And so this one's coming out in June as well for 3,400 yen. Looks cool. I mean, everybody loves the HG Moon Gundam. It's a great kit, great design, and the new rifle for that looks cool. So that looks nice. Okay, so before we get into all of the rest of the announcements, because there's still quite a lot of Bandai stuff to talk about here, I'm going to take a little break just because I've been going crazy getting prepared all of the stuff here for this video and the next couple of videos. There's, like I said, so many announcements. So as you guys know, even though I lived abroad for quite a long time, I did grow up here in America, so I grew up eating cereal. I love cereal, and so that's why I want to say a big thank you to the sponsors for today's video. It's Magic Spoon. I got the variety pack from Magic Spoon, which comes with 4 different flavors, and I've been trying them all, and I really expected to love the peanut butter one the most, but I honestly really like all of them. So there's the peanut butter, fruity, cocoa, and also the frosted ones, which are also really, really good. So I've been loving all of these, and one of the consequences of moving back to America for me has been that my dad bod has really been coming into full form. So a cereal like this is really good for me. This is made from simple, high-quality ingredients, and it's great for a low-carb lifestyle, which is something that will definitely help me for this time where I'm trying to get control of all of this. So there's loads of details on their website and on the box, but if you guys want to check it out, it's high protein, less sugar, and it's just great for nostalgia if you guys are like me and you just love eating cereal any time of the day. Really, to be honest, I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But if you guys want to try out Magic Spoon for yourself, click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it. Be sure to use the promo code ZakuAurelius at checkout to get $5 off any order, and go to magicspoon.com/ZakuAurelius. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link down below in the video description, or use the QR code right there on the screen, and use that code ZakuAurelius to save $5 off your order. And again, big thank you to Magic Spoon for the awesome cereal and for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to all of Bandai's craziness here. Diving into the SDW's Hero releases, we've got the Superior Formula Dragon Gundam, which looks pretty awesome with the split design and all the plated parts. We don't have a price or release date set for this yet, but with all of the plated plastic, you can expect it's probably going to be pretty expensive for an SD kit, but I mean, it looks pretty incredible. We also have the SDW Heroes Nobunaga's War Horse, for those of you guys who like these SD horse accessories for the SDW Heroes releases. This one does look pretty cool as well. We also got a set here. This one is the Goku Impulse of Resurrection Gundam and Sanzo Strike Freedom set. I hope that name is correct. I was using a translation and I'm not sure if that's the official name from Bandai, but as you can see, it's a pretty cool looking set here. This one also with a lot of gold. None of that plated though, I don't think. I believe that's all just going to be just gold injected plastic. But if you guys saw my recent review of a different SDW Heroes kit, the molded gold on that actually does look quite nice. They are going to be quite sticker heavy, of course, but if you're worried about the injected gold, I would say not to worry too much because they do look pretty good straight out of the box. Last thing here, we have the SDW 78th Musha Gundams. This is a new version of the Musha Gundam in the line. Again, not really too much information about this yet, and we just have this sample their production sample, and really the only thing that's in color is parts of the headdress, which look very impressive. It's like a clear green with all of these different colors on it. I think it does look really, really cool. I would imagine that this is just a painted sample, so it won't come like that. I think it'll just come in clear green. You have to actually paint it to get it to look like that, but you know, putting that work into that does look very, very impressive. All right, up next we got a bunch more kits and stuff coming out from the Gundam Build Metaverse. This is a new, like, just 3-episode special, I guess, that's going to be coming out later this year, just to kind of celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Build series, the various Build series, starting off with Build Fighters. 10 years ago now. It's pretty crazy, right? And in this kind of teaser video, we saw some images of some new mobile suits that are going to be featured in there. There's this big red version of the Barbatos Lupus, which looks pretty impressive. There's like a new Super Fumina looking kit that I can assume we're going to see in the future as well. And then the shadowy one in the background, which looks like it has the gigantic arms from the Hazel probably, and then something else. I haven't looked at it really super closely enough to figure out exactly what that is, but those are going to be other, I would imagine those are going to be kits coming out in the future as well. But just to go over what was announced for the time being, we have the HG Shin Burning Gundam. This one's coming out in November for 2,400 yen. The effect parts on this especially look very cool. I really enjoyed the Kamiki Burning Gundam, and this is kind of a new version of that. With the whole cloth and the effect parts definitely seeming a bit like a wink and a nod to the Master Gundam, sort of. So even though it's kind of styled a little bit sort of after the God Gundam, it's also throwing in some Master Gundam flavor with the kind of cloak around it. I think is a cool little thing. I'm still hoping that we'll get some kind of new model kit version of the Master Gundam at some point in the near future would be nice. But another HG we have coming out here is the HG Gundam 00 Diver Arc. This one also has some pretty cool, impressive looking effect parts here with this of the green variety, but the 00 Diver was a fantastic kit, so this one I am guessing is going to be a lot of fun as well. And it's interesting to see how each of these releases are kind of based off of different points in the build series timeline. Getting into the next one here is the HG Plutine Gundam. I'm guessing I think that's the right name. Plutine? Yes, I think that's right. Anyway, it has this much darker color scheme here. This one's based off of the Core Gundam 2 and then has some pretty wild effect parts on it. Seems a bit like an antagonist mobile suit from the series, possibly. We'll have to wait and find out, but just based on kind of the style of that and the color scheme, it does kind of seem that way, but that looks pretty interesting as well. So those are the HGs. Then we do also have a new SD. The F Kunoichi Kai is the new SD coming out in the line. This one is an SD based off of the SD F91 Gundam. Now I don't think it's gonna like necessarily be using some parts from that Gundam. I just mean like the styling of it, you can see is kind of styled off of the F91. And so it'll be interesting to see if it has a face opening mechanic. It's not shown from what we've seen so far, but I would imagine that it probably is going to have some sort of like alternate face part that it has where the face is opened up and it maybe has kind of more of a human face or something like that. Maybe based on like the character or something, I would assume it's probably going to have something like that. So we'll probably get some more information and images about the details and gimmicks of all of these kits later, closer to their release date. I think I did mention the 00 Diver Arc is out in December for 2,500 yen. The Plutine is out in December as well for 2,300 yen. This SDF Kunoichi Kai is out in November for 1,800 yen. Then we've got a couple of entry grades from this series, which is pretty interesting. So first up, the Build Strike Exceed Galaxy is out in October. Both of them are out in October, by the way. This one is for 1,100 yen, and this one is based off of the entry grade Strike Gundam. Looks pretty interesting. Kind of cool how it's making the entry grade Strike a little bit more kind of towards like the Build Strike in a way, but not, and then it's kind of its own thing, but it's kind of more like a version of the Build Strike, but anyways, based off of the entry grade Strike Gundam. So it does look pretty cool. The effect parts on that, the clear pink parts do look pretty nice with the white armor. That's a cool effect. And then the entry grade La Gundam, or Ra, I guess is the entry grade Ra Gundam. And this one is based off of the entry grade Arc 782 here, obviously, where it's got a few different parts for like the front of the leg, the skirting armor, the shoulder armor, the head, and the weapons. So it'll be interesting if they, because you know the entry grade kits are mostly on like one or two runners, so it'll be interesting to see if they're actually going to separate that runner, or if we're going to have like the full runners of the entry grade Gundam, and then like plus an additional runner with all of the new parts, something like that. So you will be able to make the original Arc 72 Gundam with this. Even though people always ask about that, like, can you make the original kit with this? It's like, if you wanted the original kit, you could just buy the original kit. Not sure why you would want to get this kit to make the original Arc 782. Obviously, it would be in a little bit different colors, I guess. So maybe that's why. But that kind of javelin weapon does look pretty cool, I have to say, for that. Okay, so those are all of the releases that are coming out from the Build Divers, from the Build Metaverse series. Now let's get into some other mecha mobile suits and different mecha kits coming out from Bandai, though these are non-Gundam related. So, okay, the HG Macross YF29 Durandal Valkyrie, and then there's also a expansion set coming out for this as well. There's an expansion set and a decal set, both coming out for this separately, but the main kit itself is coming out in August for 4,000 yen. Looks pretty cool. If you guys have built the first one, let me know what you thought about that. I didn't build it, and I'm not really planning on it, but if you guys, if you guys let me know, yeah, it's great, you should really try it out, then maybe I'll check it out. But this one's coming out, and yeah, the expansion set comes with like some alternate hand parts, and I think that may be about the extent of it. It's got some alternate parts in there you can use, and then the decal set is obviously just the waterslide decals for that. Next up we have Bandai's HG Ryujin Maru and Jakomaru. So the Ryujin Maru is out in July for 2,600 yen. The Jakomaru is out in December for 2,700 yen. Pretty interesting releases. These ones aren't really to my particular taste, but I built the like full-size Ryujin Maru, and that one was really cool. But these kits do look pretty nice if that's, kind of your style, if that style is to your liking. And then we had probably one of the things that I think has gotten the most buzz around online. I've seen people just super excited for this, is the HG Scope Dogs kit coming out from Bandai. So Bandai is now making some new Votoms kits. Of course, Bandai made some 120 scale Votoms kits in the past. This one, I believe, is 1/35 scale, so it's going to be a little bit smaller, sort of like an HG. Well, it is an HG. An HG version compared to like their past kits being more along the lines of like an MG. So imagine it kind of like that. It looks fantastic. So this is coming out in October for 2,500 yen. There is also going to be 2 different P Bandai expansion parts sets for this. So there's expansion parts set 1 and expansion parts set 2. Expansion part set 1 comes with a different version of the body that actually has like all the detailed cockpit inside and a seated pilot figure to go in the cockpit, and then also comes with like some different hand parts and some effect parts for the ground for when it's like using its wheels. And effect part set 2 is basically a standing pilot figure, and then also some other different like weapons parts and stuff that you can use with that. So looks really cool. It's kind of a shame that just the regular kit doesn't come with all of that stuff in it. I would definitely pay more for just to buy a standard release kit that has all of that stuff in it. It would come with a ton of stuff, but I think that would be an awesome release. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, but the kit is going to be really cool. I'm sure it's going to be really nice. Of course, we all have gotten to know, Bandai's quality by now, and, to imagine the quality of how this kit is going to be, it's going to be a really nice release. So for those of you guys who are Votoms, Scope Dogs fans, it's going to be really cool. So looking forward to that. We also have the HG Daizenger coming out in August for 5,200 yen. Pretty cool looking release there with that giant sword, and it does come with a base as well, some hand option parts, and it just looks like a pretty impressive, very unique design there for that one. And in Kyokai Senki news, this is something that is also not necessarily new, but we're kind of seeing some more of this now. It's the HG Kyokai Senki Proto Goyo. This one's coming out in August for 2,400 yen. There's also the weapon set 6, which is coming out as well, which is just a bunch more weapons again for the kits in that line. So we saw that there on display. And then we also saw the HG Synduality kits there on display. Again, these are something that we had announced previously, but we saw them there on display at the show. The Synduality Daisy Ogre and the Gulbao, with the former coming out in July for 3,700 yen, the latter coming out in August for 4,200 yen. Personally, I don't really like the designs though, so I probably won't be reviewing them. I'm not into it. I don't know. And the Daisy Ogre looks a bit like some cyberpunk toilet with the lid opening up like that. I don't know. I just can't get into the designs. But let me know what you guys think of the designs for those. Also from Synduality, we have a Chogokin version of the Daisy Ogre that's going to be coming out next January, so beginning of 2024. And I imagine we'll see some more information about that. It's going to be, more detailed and larger and everything. So if you guys are fans of the design, that Chogokin figure should be pretty nice. And then we've got the Figurise Standard Noelle. This is one of the characters from that new series. This one's coming out in August for 4,200 yen. Yeah, you guys know kind of how I feel about the Figurise Standard character models. They're kind of hit and miss. Generally not that big of a fan of them, but this one does look pretty nice, so it may be worth checking out. And then there's also going to be an SH Figure Arts version of Noelle coming as well, for those of you guys who would prefer to just have a figure, which is probably going to be a little bit nicer quality. but you don't. The trade-off is, you don't get to actually build it yourself. It's not a model kit. So next, getting into some more Figurise Standard stuff. Ultraman. We got Ultraman Suit Zero SC specification action versions. This one's coming out in October for 3,600 yen. Love the new colorway for the Ultraman suit itself, and then that new weapon, of course, is super cool looking. This big, massive cannon. So as you guys know, I do really enjoy those kits. Those Ultraman kits are a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to that. And there's also the Figurise Standard Ultraman Z original. This one's coming out in August for 3,200 yen. This one, again, another really cool design, and that one does look like it's going to have a LED effect, so it has like the LED unit that you can use with that. We also got a new Kamen Rider. The new Kamen Rider Drive Type Speed is coming out in September for 3,400 yen, for those of you guys who are Figurise Standard Kamen Rider fans. And then in the Figurise Standard Amplified line, we've got the Metal Greymon coming out. So we've just got the prototype there at the moment. It looks awesome though, that does look really cool. Bringing me back, speaking of nostalgia, that's definitely some nostalgia from watching Digimon when that first came out. I wasn't that big into Digimon, I watched it at the beginning, and then kind of, Pokemon was just kind of the thing. Digimon just never really got that big for me. But definitely Metal Greymon was something that was really cool to see in the anime way back in the day. So that's really fun. And then also the Figurise Standard Shine Greymon. Now this one is coming out next month, I believe. This one's coming out for 5,000 yen. So this one's not new, but we're seeing it there at the show. So you can see that on display. The Shine Greymon, that one also does look pretty wild. That's a pretty crazy design for that one. And then we've also got the Figurise Standard Amplified Summoning God Exodia. This is another one that was announced fairly recently, and now we're seeing it on display. It's huge, so this one's going to be a really big kit. I mean, the Figurise Standard Amplified kits in general have been quite large. They're definitely probably larger than you might imagine just looking at them, but this one definitely looks pretty big indeed. For the price of 4,800 yen, I mean, it makes sense. It's a relatively high price, I suppose, and so that should be a pretty big, good size kit that's coming out in August as well. All right, getting into 30-minute missions. We didn't really have a whole bunch of 30-minute mission stuff. There's more 30-minute sisters stuff, but in the 30-minute missions, we have the new Atcherby Type A and Type B designs. These are coming out in November, and these are basically like Mecha Musume, but they're not in the 30-minute sisters line, they're in the 30-minute missions line, because they're just all mecha, but they are obviously styled like a sort of female robot, even more so than like the Spinatio, which was out in the past, which was already kind of like sort of female stylized. This one is even more so, very much kind of Mecha Musume styling with this one. So those of you guys who are maybe interested in trying out some Mecha Musume style stuff, but you don't like going for the kits that have too much skin showing or something like that, you're a little bit kind of prude about it, maybe this one is maybe something that might be of more interest to you, with it being just solely a robot. It's just kind of a little bit stylized like a female character. So that should be pretty interesting. We'll see how well that those kits do, if people really kind of catch on to that, or if people are just kind of more interested in just those of you guys who are interested in Mecha Musume just want to just stick to 30-minute sisters. But we'll see. We have the Exa Vehicle Tilt Rotor version, which is coming out in September for 900 yen. This is just kind of a one of the the vehicle sets that you can just use as a vehicle on its own, or you can use it as like an expansion set or like an add-on set to any of the other different models in the line. It does look very cool. It looks very, of course, sort of similar to the Tilt Rotor pack that we saw in the HG Build Divers line. Build Fighters Divers. One of those lines. We had the Tilt Rotor pack out before. This is the 30 minutes missions version of that, and it does look very cool. And then a couple of the things that we had seen previously, but we have the Multi-Builders case and the Multi-Builders runner stand. So the runner stand is the exact same runner stand that came with the Master Grade EX Strike Freedom. And it's just basically like a piece of cardboard that you fold into a triangle, and you can hold 4 runners in it. That's, at least it's only 350 yen, I guess. But the builder's case is something that's, much more useful, I feel like. That one's coming out in September as well for 2,000 yen. The price is a little bit high for something like that, I feel like, but it does look to be like a very useful tool for you guys. As you know, I use that kind of organizing case all the time for building kits. So I definitely find them very useful. Now getting into 30-Minute Sisters, we have a lot more to talk about here. 30-Minute Sisters has a collaboration with the Idol Master Shiny Colors coming out, so a bunch of stuff here related to this. First of all, we've got the 30-Minute Sisters Mano Sakuragi. This one's coming out in October for 3,800 yen. This is going to be, I guess, a full kit here, kind of like one of the mainline kits for the series, and then we've got a bunch of different other option parts and stuff here to go through. So aside from that, we will also have an option hairstyle and face parts for 2 of the other characters. So Akari Kazuno and Meguru Hachimiya. So those are going to be 2 other different characters that you can make. You will need the body. So this is just the face and hair parts to make it as a separate different character. It's also coming out in October for 2,500 yen for that. There is also the option body parts for 2 different versions of the body parts. So there's the Beyond the Blue Sky version, which is coming out in different colors. So there's the color A, color B, and color C versions of that are going to be coming out for 2,200 yen each. And then there's also the Alpha Sisters Phantasm body, which is a different kind of costume basically. There's like basically different costume sets for these since they're idol girl characters here in the line. So with the main kit and the different face and hair option parts and the different costume option parts, you can make a number of different idols there from that series. So that should be pretty interesting. It's kind of an interesting branch off for Bandai to go on with the 30-Minute Sisters line. So it'll be pretty cool to see what people do as far as like customizing those even further. We've also got a new Color C version of the 30-Minute Sisters Ilshang coming out in August for 2,500 yen. This is again another one of the main character models in the line. I do think that this new character does look pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to this release. Definitely, there's also body part options that are related to that. There's option body parts, Scout and Commander costumes. Both of those are coming out in August for 1,500 yen each. So some different just option body parts like we've seen in the past for that line. Can be used with the Ilshang or with different ones. There's also option parts, Reaper armor. So this is like, it says Reaper armor, but it's more like just weapons parts basically. This one's out in September for 800 yen. It's just basically an option weapon set for your 30-Minute Sisters or 30-Minute missions, whatever you might want. And then we got some more hairstyle option parts. This is option parts set 8 of the hairstyles. This one's coming out in July for 600 yen each. Normally, a lot of places outside of Japan will sell these as a set of 4, so it'd be more like $24, $26, $27, something like that, for the set of 4 of them, all 4 different hair parts sets from set 8. And then 30-Minute Sisters decal set 2. So this is the second set of decals that we're getting out for the line. It's mostly eyes, but there's a few more other things on there as well of just decals. This one's coming out in August for 600 yen. So if you guys wanted to change the facial expressions, especially, you can do that with this decal set. And then we've got some face parts as well. Face parts set 5, color B, and set 6 in color C. So a couple different face option parts sets that are coming out. Those are 1,200 yen each, coming out in July. Okay, last couple things to cover here for today. Pokepla Quick, and then some dinosaur stuff here to wrap it up. Pokepla Quick Slowpoke is coming out in August for 650 yen. It's kind of cool how they advertise how you can kind of connect these all together to make them into a Slowpoke circle, which looks kind of cool. It has different stickers for making different eye expressions, so that looks pretty fun. And then Pokepla Quick Pikachu Sitting Pose. I think this is the 4th version of Pikachu that we're getting out in the Pokepla Quick line. I think the Pokepla Quick line is great. I highly recommend it for you guys if you're Pokemon fans. The nice thing about them is they're super simple, they're cheap, they look great, and so they're great Pokemon model kits. That's out in October for 650 yen for that one, so yeah, very cheap. Then we also have, not Pokepla Quick, but just from the regular Pokemon Plamo line, we have a shiny Rayquaza and also a Groudon coming out as well. I didn't see too much in the way of much more details about the release date or the price for those, but those should be out probably towards the end of the summer, beginning of fall, around that time, I guess, for those. I thought there was a Groudon model kit already, so I'm not sure if there's something new or different about this one. Last thing, dinosaur model kits. I love that Bandai and other companies as well are kind of doing, there's a slight kind of uptick in dinosaur models coming out in the past year, I feel like, and I'm here for it. So we have the imaginary skeleton Mosasaurus is coming out in October for 4,300 yen. This one also not new, but we're seeing it there on display. It looks awesome. I'm really much looking forward to this. The Mosasaurus, interestingly enough, not actually a dinosaur, so I guess we shouldn't say that. It's just an ancient reptile. So anyway, that does look awesome. And then in the Planosaurus line, after the Spinosaurus, we are going to be getting the Ankylosaurus. So another classic, of course, everybody loves the Ankylosaurus. That'll be coming out in the Planosaurus line in October for 1,400 yen. So, all right, guys, there was a lot to talk about, and that's only just stuff from Bandai is what we talked about here today. Tomorrow we'll get into all of Kotobukiya's stuff, and then we'll talk about, like I said, let me just go down the list here for you guys. We'll talk about Good Smile, Max Factory, Aoshima, Art Pla, that's from Kyoto, Hasegawa, Volks, Kavico, X Plus, and there was some really cool stuff announced from Gaia Notes as well. So a lot of stuff to talk about here regarding Shizuoka 2023. Hope you guys are excited for a lot of this stuff. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited for? What are you looking for? And it doesn't have to be most. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you guys are looking forward to, so let me know in the comments what you think about some of the stuff coming out. If there's anything interesting that you noticed about any of these kits that I didn't mention, that you just want to share, also let me know. And if there's anything that I missed or anything that I was incorrect about, you can feel free to leave any corrections or additions in the comment section below as well. And again, thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring today. Thank you guys for all of your support. Like the video, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and of course you can check the link in the video description down there as well. There's a link to USA Gundam Store where we've got a bunch of this stuff that is not exclusive items, of course. A bunch of this stuff is already up for pre-order there, so you can get some pre-orders in for any of the stuff if you're looking forward to the release. That way, as soon as we have it here at USA Gundam Store, we can get it out to you guys shortly thereafter. So that's gonna be it for today. I'll see you guys with the next part tomorrow. Bye guys.